artists. Love will come through on XFM 104.9. Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington, etc. Got some great tunes actually lined up.
Excellent.
I've brought in some Amy Mann, some Neil Young. I'm playing my favourite Clash track. What have you got for us, Steve?
I got a dynamite hip-hop tune by The Roots, which I think you'll enjoy.
Love it,
got a little bit of Joni Mitchell, maybe swing that on later.
Oh, excellent. I nearly brought in some Joni Mitchell. Good job I didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it wouldn't have made any difference. It wouldn't have made any difference.
No, we would have probably played yours, and I'd have been told to
go away.
Carl,
what have you got lined up for us as the producer?
Right, well, Rockbusters.
Been off this week again.
Has he?
Yeah.
Another week off?
Another week off, yeah.
No, I didn't have a full week off. I had 3 days off because I was working all over Christmas.
Yeah.
And still didn't stop working, preparing stuff. You've got a nice load of prizes there that I've sorted out. I had to come in especially to sort that out.
Yeah.
Rockbusters.
Did you rifle through the drawers up at Capital Gold instead of down here?
Yeah. Rockbusters, we're still doing that.
Yeah, you're picking it up.
Yeah.
He's picking it up. Yeah, still doing that.
We've got that. Last week, we sort of changed Educating Ricky a bit. Just a little bit.
Don't say we. I don't want to be incriminated in it.
Well, changed it in a sense that rather than giving you too much information about different things, it's hard to sort of keep it all in.
Yeah.
I'm giving you sort of information on one thing. So last week.
No, because some of your stuff was a little bit too intense. My favourite story was there was a blind girl. She hit her head and got better, and I couldn't take all that in at once. So you should really ration some of the education.
We sort of started
last week war-related stories.
Yeah, it was war. Do you think of that then?
And
it was three things.
And it was the French battle. Going over the top was John's got a moustache, which you think was ambiguous because someone might have said that anyway.
Well, look, you've remembered it, so it's working. So we'll be doing that, and last week
loads of French people have just gone to war who were listening to this.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to learn some science this week.
Did I?
Yeah. so the title this week for that is Acid, I Would Sort You Some Science Out. Acid, because that's...
How long did that take you to come?
Listen, well, you know, people love Karl. There's comedians come to me and go, Karl's the funniest man. They absolutely love him, right? But I think we're only seeing half of it, right? If we can get him on television, his face then, when he told me that title, was like a child at Christmas.
Yeah.
He was so proud of it. He was excited what I was gonna... It was brilliant.
It's a bit like when a child's drawn a picture in art class, you know you've got to stick it on the fridge, but you basically think it's crap.
Yeah.
It's very much like that.
Alright, Karl?
Is that good?
Yes.
So we'll be doing that. Do we need them?
Yeah.
Have
you got another one?
Yeah, I've got another one. Looking at snails.
Oh, yeah.
Snails.
Do we need
Because I know you're not a fan of snails, are you?
Well, after a bit of research, I found some good stuff out about, like, they sleep for 13 years, some of them.
Yeah.
And that. So we'll be looking into that later.
That one.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
We've got Ritual.
Yeah.
Which is something that I told you about.
Yeah, well, last week's was brilliant. It's good to have a flat head in India.
It's good to have a flat head in India.
That's brilliant. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna just play one of my favourite Smith tracks.
Can I just make a request? So I'd quite like, if we've got time, to bring back, just for 1 week only, White Van Karl.
Sure.
Because there's some quite interesting topics this week.
Oh, there's things happening in the world. There's Karl doesn't think there is. No. There is a light that never goes out. Someone's left one of those little things in here. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Amazing. What are they called, those things?
I'm just there, I was thinking of being in the front row at a Morrissey concert and going, can I just play along? They are brilliant.
I don't know what kind of sound that is.
I don't know. It's only used for when Kenneth Williams sees someone undressing.
Yeah.
That's the only time that is used, that noise. That is brilliant.
It's like it was specially created for the Carry On films.
Yeah, we need... I don't know what it is, but we need something when I walk in and see someone changing. Well, what about this? There is a light that never goes out, by the Smiths. I phoned Karl up in the week, and I said, what are you doing? He went, well, even though it's one of my days off, I'm just doing some research on the web. Found anything that said, yeah, I'm doing science. And then he said, you can get wigs for dogs in Tokyo. That's his scientific fact. And I went, what do you mean? Dogs, if they need a wig? I said, if they need a wig, what? Dogs going bald? And he went, like, this is fine to him. He went, It's a stressful city, Tokyo. The world's alright with Karl. He's always got an explanation. I've only ever seen him confused once. When, in Edinburgh, he looked out of his window one day and he saw a bloke putting a parking ticket on some rubbish.
Yeah.
And that genuinely confused him.
Yeah.
He couldn't work out, could you?
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
And the woman breastfeeding her 8-year-old child. You didn't like, did you?
I don't like that. But, what's the name? Animals with wigs. I kind of thought, after I put the phone down to you, I kind of thought about it, thought, yeah, it's a bit daft, that.
Are you sure he's not the ageing pop group?
No.
The Animals?
But when you think, have you ever seen, like, a bald pet?
No.
It's weird.
What do you mean?
Because my mum, we used to get through loads of cats because we lived there.
Oh God, it started early today, innit?
What do you mean you got
only 10 past 1?
What were you doing?
No,
running a restaurant?
We lived on...
Oh God, what do you mean?
No, we lived on like a main road.
Oh yeah.
Right? So we used to get through a lot of them. My dad kept saying, you know, stop wasting money, you know, it's not
Stop wasting money, not wasting cats!
Right, so, anyway, we had this cat that was ill all the time. And,
It's just banging nerves, probably.
Yeah, malingerer. Yeah, I'm terrified.
I'm going to which house?
Rome. Oh God, bloody hell. Rome.
Don't let me go to the Pilkingtons.
And for some reason, it kept being sick all the time. Right?
Yeah, that is nerves. That's definitely nerves.
So my mum kind of thought, I've had enough of this, and she shaved it.
Whoa! Whoa. Now, I know you're not vets in your family, but what correlation did your mum think there was between you being sick and shaving it?
Because it kept being sick, and it was a pain to wash, because it kept getting
So she wanted a dry wipe cat.
So...
Why didn't you just varnish it? What?
It's weird,
So now he's cold and sick?
No, but not all of it. She left sort of the back half, but sort of from its waist, sort of...
I love that shaving because it's sick on itself!
And it was the weirdest looking thing. I mean, normally I like cats. I'm always like giving yours a stroke on the head and that. Yeah. But as soon as she did that, it was like, oh. Yeah. Can't touch it. And then...
So now it's sick, cold and hated.
Yeah.
Karl.
It must have, I mean, the other cats must have been taking the mick out of it constantly. It's just making things worse. I'm hoping that it got run over and was put out of its misery.
No, I think it got alright, that one. Or is that yeah, it did get run over. It did.
Oh, God. Oh, dear.
How many cats do you say you've got through?
I'd say whilst I was living at home, I mean, it's still on the increase even though I'm not there. So, whilst I was there, probably 5.
God.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
And were you upset each time, or you just got used to it?
It's one of them things, isn't it? Like I've said before, when you first see something, it's a bit of a shock. Do you know what I mean? It's like the Elephant Man or whatever.
Yeah.
First time you see him, it's that sort of, oh, look at that.
Do you remember the first time you saw Steve? No, I'm not being funny. Do you remember the first...
Yeah, but I've said this before, it's always, then you get used to how people look, and you don't... No.
I'm gonna burst. You have to play a record.
No, but...
Because I just see Steve. Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. Brilliant.
Rick, I was in, I don't know whether I should tell you this, because it might rock you to the very core.
Go on.
But I was in an Indian restaurant the other night, and, you've not seen the film. Have you seen the film Notting Hill?
I haven't, no.
Right, in the film Notting Hill, have you seen that, Karl?
Yeah.
Do you remember the bit, Julia Roberts plays a movie star, rather like
She's the most famous, yeah, I know.
And she's in a restaurant having dinner with, Hugh Grant, and she overhears some people in the restaurant slagging her off. And saying, you know, she's a slapper, probably all actresses are. And, she's sort of stewing on it, and, Hugh Grant wants to say something, and she says, no, I won't let you. And then as she's walking out, she goes and says something to them, and of course their faces drop, they can't believe it's her. Anyway, I was in an Indian restaurant the other night, and they were slagging you off, Rick. Well, what they were saying is they were going, Ricky Gervais, the thing about Ricky Gervais is he's just like the character he plays. Right. He's just like David Brent in real life. And I was listening in, and I was thinking, well, I want to say something. I want to go over and have a word and say, you know, you're partially right. but I couldn't, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I couldn't, what could I do? I couldn't really go over there and get into a rumble.
I want to say, what do you mean that I'm like him? I use his face and his vocal cords But I mean, I can't help that.
But it's that thing as well of, I don't know where they've got this information from.
But no.
Because you're not, so they're wrong.
Well, yeah, they've received it from somewhere, or they've read it or something. It's just, but I don't know. I mean, I can't really be annoyed that they're just wrong.
But it was very weird.
It's like being annoyed at a vicar believing in God. I can't get annoyed with him. I just don't believe.
But because obviously they didn't recognise me, it's rather like, you know, when they talk about that idea that if you could go to your funeral, what would people be saying about you? It's the closest you could get to that. You can hear what people are saying about your friends.
But why don't you, to get him round to that, you go, he is, yeah. What do you think of the other fella that's sometimes with him? That tall fella, he's good, isn't he?
Yeah.
I know,
It's a shame actually, because, on the occasions I do get recognised from minor appearances, I never get any cool fans. I just get the nerds. I get the real nerdlingers. I don't get, you know, beautiful women coming out.
You're putting them off, though. Putting them off. You've got to take what you can. Well... but you'll have nothing.
No, I know, but this girl came out the other day, and she said, hey, are you that guy who's involved with The Office? I went, oh, yes, I am. She went, my boyfriend loves you, he's over here. And she pointed him out. I was devastated. I thought, I'm in here. Yeah. There was nothing going on. But there was a guy who was in HMV, and he was working with he'd been working on the till, and he saw me, he said, would you sign this DVD? I went, no problem, mate. I said, and I was trying to make conversation, I was trying to be frothy, and I said to him, oh, selling well, is it? And he went, it is. Although we've had quite a lot of returns. I said, well, don't tell me that. I don't want to know that.
What did he mean? That they didn't like it?
And I said, what? People have been bringing it back.
No, I think it's glitches.
He said, they've been bringing it back. I said, what was the problem? He said, they didn't really like it.
No!
Yeah, some of them didn't really like it.
You can get it back if you don't like it!
No, I mean, I don't know whether they gave him the money back, but certainly that's what he dealt with. That's what he'd encountered.
And then he said, we didn't give the money back, they just wanted to drop it off. What, they didn't even want the money back?
Yeah, they just wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah, they
didn't want it in the house.
It's like,
I don't want this rubbish in the house.
Oh, but we still get the money for it, do we?
We still get the money, but you know, I told you that other time. Again, because people don't recognise me, again, I was in a record shop, there was a stack of Office videos, and this guy went by, and I sort of heard them as they went by, he went, oh, Office, yeah, a lot of people like that. I think it's shit, he's mate when I agree.
Really?
And of course, again, what could I do? I couldn't say anything. I couldn't pipe up and go, well, that's sort of...
Well, I like the fact that you're always hearing these loud vocals.
Yeah.
It's great. What's the chance of that? That's brilliant. Maybe everyone's always slagging it off.
But it's part of it. Yeah, that's part of it, but also because I keep hanging out by stacks of Office DVDs.
Oh, dear.
Wearing a t-shirt with a picture of you and me on.
Yeah, that'd do it. What we got to play, Carl?
Something Steve wants.
Well, actually, I must dedicate this to someone who's emailed in. I mentioned earlier that I was going to play some of the Roots, and Joe from Peterborough's very excited about that. So, this is not from the current Roots album, sadly, which I've not fully absorbed yet, and therefore don't feel I can make a decision on which track to play, but maybe that'll come.
That's the sort of
sometime in the future.
And thought we put into our, you know, picking music.
Exactly.
I had these cassettes still in my bag from last week.
Sure. Anyway, this is from the album Things Fall Apart. It's the Roots featuring Erykah Badu. You Got Me. Let's play it.
It's coming up to 1:30. And so it's time for Rockbusters. It's a structured show. It's a new leaf. This show in the new year is going to be structured. Set pieces, hitting our marks. Do you know what I mean? There'll be time checks, weather checks, quick cold out. If you're driving, careful on that. So do the prizes.
Check for traffic, like if it's bad.
Yeah.
Okay, well again, an arbitrary selection of goodies.
What are those politicians doing?
Was that XFM News?
Yeah. Right, what have we got?
So we've got, for those that are a fan of the movie Donnie Darko, which a lot of people rave about this year, a sort of weird teenage movie, then there's a sort of sweatshirt there.
It is actually quite nice.
It's not bad at all. It's medium, so if you're a bit of a bloater, don't bother to apply unless you've got a friend already. We've also got here a Graham Norton video. Certificate 18. So, please don't phone up unless, don't email in unless you're above the age of 18.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the best of his TV show.
Yeah.
Look forward to that.
It's a big stiff video, that, isn't it? It's a big stiff cock of a video.
Thanks very much.
I meant the...
You meant the bird.
Yeah.
There's also a fairly mediocre British wartime thriller, Enigma, which a lot of people, it was hyped for a while, but it's actually interminable. I've seen it. The first series here of The Kumars at number 42 on DVD. I think that's award-winning, so that's available as well. We've got 2 CDs by the look of it. We've got Pulp's Greatest Hits, which I don't think sold very well, and so presumably they are giving that away. And Johnny Cash's current album, American For the Man Comes Around. There's some good cover versions there.
Again, another big sell. A big sell. We're really pushing this.
But it's quite kooky. Johnny Cash here does covers of things including Personal Jesus.
All right.
By Depeche Mode. Yeah. We've got Bridge Over Troubled Water, his version of that, Desperado. And, anyway, it's not bad, that's probably the best treat in that bunch.
Right.
And, I'm assuming there's some questions there, Karl.
Yeah.
Right, here we go.
If you're a new listener, the way it works, I'll give you a cryptic clue, and some initials, and it sort of makes up a band. Yeah. Makes more sense when you hear it, I reckon.
Not particularly.
Well, not really. Although people do get it. I just worry about the state of our listeners. Go on.
Right, so there's 3 of them. You email in ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
It's email only. I repeat, it is email only.
We're not too lazy to answer the phone.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go then. Number 1. There's normally 2 easy ones and a difficult one.
Sure.
So here we go. Number 1. Don't argue with him, he ain't gonna change his mind.
Don't argue with him, he ain't gonna change his mind.
Yeah, that's AA.
AA.
That's, yeah. So that's the first one.
He's not gonna change his mind. What do you mean, You've got them written out, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about what the answer is, so I don't write the answer down.
Don't worry, they get it. Yeah, don't worry.
Well, you can't remember it? You came up with it, there's only 3.
I know, it's weird, isn't it?
No, it's not weird, it's incompetent.
Right, the second one, anyway, I hope you get this.
I hope you get this. Email in and tell us the answer.
This is a shambles,
Hang on a minute.
Keep going.
Go on.
He always gets what he wants and doesn't worry about anyone else. P.
And you don't know
You don't know that is?
I'm sure it'll come to me once I see it on email.
What do you mean? Once they get it, you'll agree with them?
I'll know if it's the one I had down as the answer.
This is brilliant. Imagine Jeremy Paxman doing that going,
yeah, University Time.
Is that right? Go on.
Right, so that's that one.
Give us that one again.
He always gets what he wants and doesn't worry about anyone else. P.
But you're confused. I don't understand how you can be confused.
Yeah.
Alright,
the third one, I'll have to put that woman in the oven. And that's AB.
Alright, quickly give us them again.
Right, so the first one, don't argue with him, he ain't gonna change his mind. That's AA. He always gets what he wants and doesn't worry about anyone else. That's P. And, I'll have to put that woman in the oven. AB.
Alright. Okay. Ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
I'm gonna play a classic track now by Neil Young, Alabama. It's beautiful. Karl is still confused. He's waiting, he's biting his fingers, waiting for an email to tell him the answer to the clue he made up but can't get. I love that as an experiment. As a I mean, that would confuse psychologists, that you come up with something that you can't get. It's brilliant.
Yeah, you came up with the question, you don't know the answer.
And you expect them to, but you can't, and you made it up. Look at your face, like play some adverts. Billy Corgan's new band there. Smashing Pumpkins. Sounds a bit like them, but I like it.
It's alright, not bad.
I like it.
It would take to know, Rick, incidentally, that someone's got the right answer, so, Karl now knows the answer, yeah.
Brilliant. Well done, Karl. You're a fool. Right.
Well, talking of which, it's a long time since we've had any White Van Karl. For those that don't remember this particular hot feature, we basically ask Karl some of the questions that are asked of a white van driver in the Sun. They always have this on Saturday afternoons. Anyway, here's the first one. They're not fascinating, Karl, but I'm just interested on your take, really.
Yeah.
What do you make of Cilla Black quitting Blind Date after her husband sent a message from beyond the grave? Are you familiar with the story?
I didn't know that. What's that?
She went to see a medium, and supposedly her husband passed on information through the medium, which was incredibly vague, but persuaded her to quit live on air.
Well, it's about time, isn't it? If even dead people are saying enough's enough. But I'll tell you what, though, talking about ghosts and that, do you know how I'm into them?
Yeah.
Right? How weird do you think this is, right?
Well, it's not true. Before you say it, play a record.
No, go on.
Go on.
Right, it's this woman. I don't even know if it's ghost, really, it's just a bit weird.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
There's this woman, and she's not a woman, she's a kid.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
She's walking down, like, a street in her area, it's a nice day and everything's normal. She's walking down, and a woman comes up, cycling past, right? The woman on the bike looks at the kid, absolutely terrified, right? Got a really scary face on her.
Yeah.
The kid's thinking, why is she doing that?
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, she thinks nothing of it, goes, I think she was playing in the park or whatever, goes and has a nice day. About 15 years later.
Oh, right, yeah.
She's I don't know, I think she was going to work, right, on a bike.
She was riding her own bike?
Riding her own bike, cycling down the road.
Oh, yeah.
Looks at the kid. That's the thing that happened, like, 15, 20 years ago.
Right.
It's her on the bike looking at her as a kid.
Right. Not another child.
No. So it's her, she's seen herself.
What, Carl? I mean, I don't know where to start.
Firstly, where's this information come from?
But I mean, why do you ever I mean, I don't know what part of that you think can be true. I mean, honest, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. What are you talking about?
Bit weird, though, isn't it?
But it's not true.
It didn't happen. Nothing happened like that.
She said it did.
Well, she's wrong.
She said she saw herself.
She saw herself as a kid, didn't she?
Did she carry on
riding as an adult when she was a kid.
Did she stop and talk to herself? Or did she ride on by and think, that's a bit weird, there's me as an 8-year-old. I won't stop, I'll be late for work.
Yeah, if I'm late again, the boss said he'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and where is this information? Did it happen to someone you know?
No.
You overheard it on the bus?
No, it was in the 14 Times.
Ah, right. Well, that's the answer.
Good.
We've got to the bottom of that.
Right, good. Brilliant.
Now, what do you make of David Blunkett accusing gangster rappers of making kids believe guns are cool? It's a hot topic there, Carl, and I imagine you've got some strong opinions.
He's saying what?
He is saying, basically, that all this rap music is advocating gun use and violence against people, and he's very worried about it.
Nah.
Okay. Alright, next one.
Have you thought about going into politics? Because I'll tell you this, they wouldn't be able to argue with you, really, in the Houses of Parliament. Where would they start?
Yeah. My learned fellow, he's an idiot.
Yeah. No, but violence has always been about, hasn't it, like cowboys and Indians. They didn't have PlayStations and Tupac then, and there was still violence.
What do you mean? In the Wild West?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So you can't really blame it on stuff. It'll always happen. That's the world, and it's made up of different types and that.
Again, he's right. Again, he's sort of right in a way, in his innocence, in his buffoonery.
I didn't hear what he said.
He just said there's always been violence. You know what I mean? It's sort
Even,
of like,
you know, dinosaurs, look at them. They cause a lot
and then he went too far and made himself sound like a fool again.
But I'm just saying, it's always happened, it always will.
Yeah.
Don't try and change it.
Yeah, just chill out is what you're saying.
Do you know what we should do? We should all get on our bike, go and find ourselves when we're little and go, be careful what you do in life. 9, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington.
You'll be pleased, Rick.
Go on.
Ricky Anderson has emailed him.
Dickers!
Danderson.
Oh, yeah, what are you doing, Dindo?
He's probably our biggest fan.
Diddler, you little diddler!
Exactly. He has emailed in, as ever. Ricky, your show fascinates me. How do you maintain such levels of senseless drivel? That's from Randy Anders.
Little diddle donners!
Oh! So, thanks again,
Dudley.
Yeah.
Well done. He's yeah, that's great. I get a buzz. I was disappointed last week where he didn't. Ask him why he's didn't. He didn't
respond last week. No, it's a shame.
Probably busy. I don't believe he had something better to do.
Well, I wouldn't have thought so.
I can't believe that of anyone.
No,
when you've got this sort of level,
exactly,
intense chat. What have you done this week, Carl?
Well, I've had a few days off, haven't I?
Yeah.
Still, doing stuff for this show and that, but managed to put a few hours in.
Yeah, not really.
Just doing nothing, and bought a place. So I was looking at kitchens.
Yeah.
Weighing some of them up and
checking them out,
and also ordered a sofa.
Yeah.
Nice sort of comfy, sort of leatherish sofa.
Oh, a leatherish.
Oh, I don't like leather sofas.
Yeah, but what are you picturing?
A leather sofa.
A leather sofa.
Yeah,
it's squeaky and it's...
No, this isn't.
Isn't it?
No, this isn't like that.
But I want a really old, sinking into fabric. I want a sofa that is as comfortable as a bed. Do you know what I mean?
Well, if it was acceptable, you'd have a bed in your lounge, wouldn't you? If that was allowed, without seeming like you were sort of, like, elderly, or
that would be good. And I'd have a drip going in.
Yeah.
Sort of like with nutrients. I can't be bothered to chew. No,
you can't,
sort of lager with sort of, vitamins. And then one going from my knob down to the toilet.
To the lavatory,
and with all the remote controls. And that would be amazing.
To be fair, you're almost there, Rick. I've certainly seen the toilet tubing when I've been round in the past.
My dad's bed, right? My dad would never change his chair. Well, I would try and get rid of it, because it would just fit to him, and it'd just be absolutely dilapidated, right? And
he had like his own chair in the length.
Yeah, his own chair, right? And then, and his bed, right? When, they had separate rooms towards the end. And his bed, right? It had it for years, and it was a big dip. It was just like a spoon in the middle, where it was concave. And my mum used to just vacuum it out.
Oh!
With all the little bits of, like, he'd have a fag in bed, or he'd do his roll-ups in bed.
Yeah.
And,
that's
he said to him, why do you like that bed? It's curved, he goes, it means I can't fall out. I did, it was like, in a hammock. That's great.
That can't be good for his back.
Well, I don't think it mattered towards the end of it. A hammock would be, I really would love a hammock. I think a big beanbag would be good, wouldn't it? With a telly.
A beanbag as big as a bed would be amazing.
Yeah, but there's still the telly thing, because do you prop yourself up a little bit to watch it? Do you watch it on the side, which is annoying? Do you turn the telly on the side?
I've always wondered about that.
The weird thing is, right, do you know I've mentioned before about certain things that are just right, like your hand, 5 fingers is just enough, right? One more.
The sex tips.
It ruins stuff.
Yeah, well, one less.
One less, and I was saying about drying your pots and that'd be really slippery and that.
Yeah.
Right? And the weird thing is, right?
I think that's what nature had in mind.
No, but my mum and dad, right, they moved to this little house, right? And, they had loads of furniture that they've collected over the years without chucking out, and they've moved to this small house. So they just had too much furniture, right? And, they had this double bed, and that was for when friends come round and that, they can stay there. But the problem was he wanted to sort of put these wardrobes in the bedroom, right?
Right.
That went on either side of the bed.
Sort of wrapped around the bed.
Yeah, but because the room was so small, he thought, I can sort that out.
Yeah.
Right? And he sawed the bed.
He sawed the bed?
He sawed the whole thing, so you've got, your mattress, your bed, and everything. And
he just sliced some off?
Like a big sandwich, just cut a bit off the edge.
Cut the crust off.
But how much is that, would you say?
About 8 inches, 6
inches. 8 inches.
But hold on, but that won't work. Because it'll all fall out the side, and then what happened to the springs and all the supports and stuff? It'll just collapse.
It didn't all come out and that. I mean, it's not the comfiest bed. but the weird thing is, he did it, and even though it's only like that 8 inches or whatever, it totally ruined it. It's
well of course it would.
No, but what do you think I mean? I don't mean it ruined it as in, it looks a mess.
No, it would have been uncomfortable.
Not even that though, just the fact it's that little bit shorter. It's like, God, for 2 people this is hard work now. This is like, you haven't got enough room, even though it's only 8 inches.
Why did he build the wardrobes first, without measuring, putting the...
I think he did all that, and then thought, it'll easily fit in there, and it didn't, so he had to sort of saw a bit off the bed. But it's just weird how only 8 inches...
Did he use one of those electric saws?
Yeah.
And presumably there was just kind of material and wood just flying everywhere.
What did he do with the legs? Did he have to move the legs in a bit?
He moved the legs. Looking at it, right, once it's got the quilt on it and everything, you wouldn't know. I was like, yeah, that's alright, you've done a good job. Yeah. And I went to bed at night, he's like, sleep well. Got up in the morning after having about 45 minutes sleep and said, something not right with that.
Yeah.
You really are your father's son, aren't you?
I said, it's not right with that.
It's not right. And he said, oh, well, I said, what have you done? It doesn't seem the same. And he said, oh, I had to shorten it, sort of thing, to fit in the gap. I said, well, I can't sleep in it. I said, and there was a big kerfuffle. My mum was saying, look, you have our bed then, and we'll sleep in that one. And my dad was like, sod that.
Yeah, it's ruined. Some idiot cut it.
So, there was a big debate going on about where we should sleep, and I was saying, look, I only come and see you, every couple of, probably once every 6 months.
I'm not being funny, but next time we go home, can I film it? Just for, Channel 4 or something.
Well, the Osbournes is not on at the moment. The Pilkingtons. That would be extraordinary.
Oh, can we film it?
That's brilliant.
Is anyone from Channel 5 listening to this show?
Or Bravo?
Yeah.
The Pilkingtons.
Weird though.
Play a record?
What do you want to play? Do you want to play, do you fancy playing something of yours?
What, have we got anything?
I don't know, something that was sent in to you, maybe?
Oh yeah, no, I'll tell you, I'd like to play this, Bronze Age Fox. Band from Bristol, my neck of the woods.
Always working, Carl, always working, he's all what he
I wish that's how you spoke.
Right, what are you doing then?
Let's have a quick reprise, if we could, of the Rockbusters clues.
Yeah, Rockbusters, if you just tuned in, you've missed it this week. It's your 3
no,
clues.
you haven't, that's why we're giving the clues again.
Yeah, I know, but if they haven't.
Eh? What?
Say if they've been busy.
Just give the clues again.
First one.
God.
Don't argue with him, because he isn't going to change his mind. That's AA. Second one, he always gets what he wants and doesn't worry about anyone else. That's P. Yeah. And the third and final one, I might have to put that woman in the oven. AB.
Interesting.
Are we telling him or still?
No. People have still got a chance to win those extraordinary prizes. ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
We've still got features to come though, Steve. It's incredible. We've still got Ritual. Remember last time? People in India, it's good to have a flat head.
Yeah.
We've got Do We Need 'Em? I've got That's Ridiculous.
That's a great game.
What should we do next?
It's too much.
We get Do We Need 'Em out of the way?
Get Do We Need 'Em out of the way?
Yeah, just
let's explain it again.
If you're new, I'm sort of on a bit of a mission to find out, we've got a lot of animals and insects in the world and stuff.
Yeah.
Do we need them all?
It still amuses me.
So we've found out we've got to keep jellyfish. We've done octopus. So we've got to keep them. This week, snails.
Do we need them?
Just doing some research, right? I'm sort of working my way through different creatures and insects and stuff that's on the planet.
Yeah.
Right? And finding out if we need them or not. Right?
Yeah.
Do you know much about snails?
What, sea snails?
Well, yeah.
Snails in general. Don't know much about snails, land snails. Don't know a bit about sea snails, like whelks, top shells, that sort of thing.
Would you say they're important?
What sort of sense do you mean by important?
Say if we had to sort of get rid of some animals and insects and that because we're running out of room.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because I'll tell you what I know about some snails. I don't know if this applies to sea snails as well. I mean, I called you today because a lot of other places are shut.
Yeah.
Right? So, I know, they like to eat stamps, apparently. The glue on stamps. They love it. Right?
Right.
Apparently a lot of, letters and stuff aren't getting to where they're meant to be getting because snails are crawling into letterboxes and eating the stamps. That obviously doesn't apply to the sea ones. But that's a problem they're causing.
Oh, right.
Were you aware of that?
No, I didn't know that.
But you're glad you answered the phone today. Right? They love beer.
Beer, yeah, who doesn't?
And also, I don't know if this is right, but I heard that they sleep for 13 years, or can do.
Right, I wouldn't know if they can sleep for 13 years or not, but... I mean, sea snails are pretty important, yeah, they do quite a good job in the sea, they graze on algae and they provide food for other animals. I mean, you can say that about any fish, or any animal, why do they exist?
Would you be upset if, someone said, we're getting rid of them?
Oh, yeah.
You would be?
They're an animal, I wouldn't...
Forget being like favouritism and all that I get for them, right? There'll be other things knocking around you can sort of spend your time looking after. You'll still have a job, don't be worrying about that. Because I'm not going to get rid of all the fish. Jellyfish need looking after, so you're safe.
Yeah.
But do we need them? Come on, there's loads of people saying, come on, we've got to move on through the animals, and you're holding them up saying, well, I want to keep them.
Well, who's saying we need to... That just sounds a bit crazy to me.
Just imagine. Do you know what I mean? And they would come to you because you work in an aquarium, so they'd be asking for your advice.
Right.
And you're slowing it down.
Well, they asked my advice and I'm giving it to them, so, that's what I think, anyway.
Yeah, but snails, I mean, like I say, they drink beer and that, What did they do apart from some food for a whelk?
They were around, their descendants around a lot longer than we have been.
Yeah, they've been around a long time, but what have they done?
Well, they've survived that long, so they must be doing something pretty good.
Well, apparently they sleep for 13 years, so really, even though they've been around for ages...
I think that sounds a bit... But I don't think they sleep for 13 years.
Not all of them, just the tired ones. So, snails, do we need them?
Well, yeah, I just think they've got to, it's not for us to say, do we need them or not, we can't.
So you think we should keep them?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I'm proud of you. That was
getting really quite annoyed.
I know. What did he think he was doing? What? I don't know what you tell these people. I mean, you don't get their permission to play this out, do you? You just don't tell them.
The thing is, right, I sort of told him what it was about, but we won't say who he is or where he works, because it doesn't matter. I just needed to speak to someone who knows.
I know the fact that you were trying to get an answer out of him by suggesting that he would be safe, because he could look after jellyfish if he gave the okay to destroy snails.
He was getting livid, you could tell.
Oh, God. Brilliant. So he's been around a long time, but what have they done? Well, that was great, Carl. Play records. Well done.
Bit of Amy Man.
Oh, I'm obsessed with this song, Red Vines. It's brilliant.
You mentioned earlier when we had our regular email from Dickie Anderson.
Yeah.
Randers, as I call him.
Dandy son.
Yeah. You mentioned it because we didn't get anything from him last week. We didn't get anything from him last week. Anyway, he's obviously listening. Rich, because he's emailed in to explain his absence. Dear Ricky, sorry for not tuning in last week, only I was in HMV returning the 14 copies of The Office I got for Christmas. That's from Randers. So, he's explained himself.
Oh,
he's excused himself.
Oh, Anders, we should get him on one day.
Yeah.
Right, okay, Carl. That's ridiculous. 3 amazing scientific facts, one of which is spurious. Okay? Okay, 1. Girls can't throw because the part of their brain that allow men to throw properly in a girl is used up in emotion. 2. Gravity isn't instantaneous. It works at the speed of light. The force of gravity. 3. Statistically, you're more likely to be trampled by a donkey than dying in a plane crash.
No, even though the last one sounds daft, I think I've read that. About the donkey thing.
Okay.
So, girls... What's the first one?
Girls can't throw properly because the part of the brain that allow men to throw is used up in emotion in a woman. Gravity isn't instantaneous, it works at the speed of light. So when you drop something, the force kicks in at the speed of light.
What do you reckon, Steve?
Well, it's not for me to say.
Is this a trick one where none of them are ridiculous? Or
no, one of those three. One of those 3 is not true.
Right, well, it's definitely not the donkey, right, so, I reckon the girl one, throwing stuff.
Is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well done. Very well done indeed.
Yeah.
Very well done indeed.
That's 2 out of 2 he's got so far.
Well, there you go. Well, I'll teach you some stuff now, right?
I've always been fascinated by the donkey fact, because it is an extraordinary fact that more people are killed apparently by donkeys.
Yeah.
Than they are by airplane crashes.
Well, I suppose in countries where they're used, and, used a lot, that, they go a bit mad and squash out.
But my concern is that when you go on a plane, there's so many checks. I mean, it takes some 40 minutes to go through all the checks, the air pressure, the cabin pressure, the fuel, checking the, flights, the takeoff, all the rest of it. Our checks for donkeys.
Nothing.
Did someone close the gate? I think so.
Exactly,
That's our
Is he annoyed?
check.
Is he annoyed or not? You're not working him too hard, are you? Yeah. He's got his hand. Is there 2 holes for the ears? Yes.
Well, I think that's what's happening. I don't think it's accident. I think they're picking us off. I think they're so annoyed that a nickname for them is ass. Yeah. And they've got to wear the little hat. They've got to ride give kids rides on the beach and that. I think they're just sort of annoyed. Yeah. Maybe they're sort of just picking us off one by one. Yeah. Teaching us a lesson.
If we had the same stringent checks on donkeys as we do on international flights, maybe there'd be a little less death.
Exactly. Wise words.
Cheers.
Wise, if slightly incoherent words.
Go on, Carl.
Got that right. Acid. I would sort you out with some science.
Brilliant. I forgot the puns in mine, didn't I? I forgot the puns.
Yeah.
Go on.
Right, so, you asked to sort of be taught some science and that last week after being taught about war, so, did some research. And, there's a few things, I think we'll just cover one of them now.
Go on.
We've talked a lot about hairy kids.
We have discussed that a lot.
I love the fact that Simon Sharma has never started a programme like that. The Jacobites. We've talked a lot about hairy kids. Go on.
It's a little bit, I mean, it's not your traditional science stuff, but it's still interesting and it's a little bit, it's still
we talk about hairy kids. We have disproportionately, honestly. I think this show's talked about hairy kids more than any other radio show.
Well, it's one that...
Sorry, I noticed both of you there dropped the H, or the H, or however it's pronounced.
I had to.
So, airy
Hairy kids,
hairy children, not sort of airy, kind of light-headed or...
Yeah. Well, there was the case of the one who lived in China.
Yeah.
And,
which was weird for two reasons, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, go on.
One was, like, he was covered in hair.
That's already weird.
And the doctor sort of checked him over and said, well, yeah, he is hairy, but he's quite healthy, apart from he had a little bit of eczema and a boil. That was the main bit of the story, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But this one, right, we have sort of talked about it, and you weren't having any of it at the time.
What?
This next bit of science I'm telling you about.
Go on then.
Right? Remember when I told you about a lad who was living at home with his mum and dad, right? Everything's, normal life, go to school, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Then, I think his mum and dad had an argument, and it kicked off a bit, and he thought, I'm sick of this. It's happening all the time now, they kept having arguments, so the kid ran off into the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right?
God.
Now, he left, he went and ran in the woods, and he ended up living with some monkeys.
Right.
Right? And he thought, this isn't a bad life, there's no arguments going on.
Sure.
He was getting on with them. And the weird thing
bananas.
is, this is where the science bit comes in.
Oh, sure.
He grew a load of hair on his body.
That's not true. It's not true.
It is true.
It's an acquired characteristic.
I bet someone will back me up on this.
But no, you can't. You can't grow hair like that. You might get a little bit more down here. They might the erectile tissue might, they won't fall out as much. But you don't actually grow a big mane if you're cold and you're a human.
Well, he did. This lad did. I know it sounds a bit strange and that, but he was living with the monkeys, and because it was cold, his body reacted to it.
Listen. He was no hairier than he would have been if he was walking around naked on a cold day, with or without living with monkeys.
The fact that he was living with monkeys makes no difference.
No, I know, but I'm trying to get, picture it in your head what it's like.
Although Mickey Dolenz was always pretty hairy.
Right? So, he was living with them, and, he went into town or something one day.
Oh, yeah.
To get some food, and the people there were like, hang on a minute, that isn't a monkey.
He went in naked?
No, he was there covered in hair.
Yeah, but naked, but covered in hair, so it was decent. It was.
Yeah, but that was a weird thing, they thought it was a monkey in the shop. And
so presumably he had a big long beard as well, because he couldn't shave, could he?
No, he just covered. He looked like a monkey.
And they were happy to serve the monkey, were they? There's a monkey, he's buying a newspaper and some milk.
How did he walk, Carl? Did he walk upright or whistling along?
The picture that I saw on the internet, he was on all fours, but I don't know if that's when he was running away after they'd sort of, realised he was a kid. But this was a picture.
So he was a kid as well, he wasn't even like an adult with a beard?
No, he was a kid.
Brilliant.
And the
beard kicked in a little bit.
So listen, the people caught him.
You're an idiot.
The people caught him, shaved him, right? Got it all off, didn't grow back again.
Right.
You're an idiot.
Well, like I say, people will have heard this story or read about it.
You're an idiot.
And they'll email in, they don't let me down.
And they'll agree that you're an idiot.
No, they'll have seen the story.
You're an idiot.
So that's a little bit of science.
You're an idiot. Libertines, Time for Heroes and XFM 104.9. Right, okay, so have you got anything that is science, as opposed to nonsense?
Well,
Kid went off with some monkeys, grew hair, came back, shaved him, it didn't grow back. I mean, just think. Right, something else.
There's a few things I found.
Yeah.
There's a fella...
Oh, God.
Who had hiccups for 69 years. That was a bit annoying.
Yeah.
There's the dog with the wig that we've discussed.
Imagine if you just tuned in.
Yeah.
There's the dog with the wig that we've already discussed.
Did we discuss that?
Not really.
Did I not tell you what he said? I did, didn't I? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What else have we got? Well, there's something here that you sort of know.
Is this going out live?
Yeah, this is happening, right?
Oh, go on.
But remember when you talked about sponges?
Yeah.
If you get a red sponge and a blue sponge,
you liquidise them, pour them back into a tank. After a few hours, they know which was which, and they reform as a red sponge and a blue sponge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was weird when you told me.
Yeah.
Looked it up, did a bit of research.
Yeah.
Thought that's sort of sciencey.
Yeah.
You can do the same thing with a mouse's brain.
Okay. Explain a bit more?
No, you can't.
If you get a dead mouse,
put
its brain into a blender, blend it up, leave it standing for a bit.
Making that up, aren't you? You're confusing this. You watch Nigella Lawson make some sort of pudding.
No.
What do you mean? It won't work with the brain.
Well, it does with I mean, not a human brain. Don't be trying that.
Although...
No, a mouse one. A mouse one.
And what happens?
It sort of reforms. Goes back together again. No, you know. Because apparently it's made up of the same stuff as...
But it doesn't, does it? Because if it's dead, if it's a dead brain, the cells can't act anyway. The fact the sponge is that it doesn't kill the cells, it liquidizes them, it doesn't kill the cells. Yeah. So it couldn't be a dead brain anyway. It would have to be a live brain taken out from a live mouse for the cells to be getting oxygen and working and being sensitive to each other. And that, I don't see how that could work like it does in sponges.
I mean, do you know what I mean?
You're not a scientist.
I've just sort of read it and gone, oh, that's interesting, I'll tell Ricky and Steve about it.
Yeah.
You're quizzing me as if I've come up with it. No. It's someone else has done it and said it works.
Sure.
So I'm not...
Do you think ghosts are behind it, or do you think there's a scientific explanation for it?
No, it's just one of them weird things, isn't it? Yeah. So that's what you sort of science covered for this week.
Well, that was another barnstorming feature from Karl Pilkington.
Is that it? Is that the two things you got this week?
Thanks very much for that.
Well, I mean,
there's nothing behind them. Do you know what I mean by this? There's not like a weight of intellect behind these facts.
Why don't you make that your science project for this week? Find a dead mouse somewhere, Karl, and a blender, and we'll bring that in next week. We'll do it live on air. See what happens.
Oh. Do you feel sort of let down a little bit sometimes with our reactions?
Well, what are you expecting us to do? What are you expecting us to just like look at you, open-mouthed, staring at you in awe?
Just like, oh God, yeah, where did you find that out? And like,
but we know. Tell us. We know where you found it out. You looked on the internet and a strange homemade website by a maniac somewhere, who puts on stupid things that he heard through Chinese whispers. That's where you get your information from. I doubt that anything you've ever come up with is verified. If it is, it's luck.
But what do you expect me to do for you? Do you know what I mean? I'm just...
You know, I'd like to know what the source of the information is. I'd like it to be, you know, a research study by the University of Columbia, rather than, you know, a guy who calls himself Mr. Pickles. On a website somewhere. www.lunatics.com.
I mean, oh God.
Some kind of evidence, do you know what I mean?
I must warn you now, you know that Steven Spielberg thing's coming, Taken? Yeah? About alien abduction. When you watch it, just remember this, it's not a documentary. Okay?
Alright.
Alright?
You remember E.T.? We were discussing that earlier. You know that's not fact.
Brilliant. Black Star Radiohead from the Bends on XFM 104.9.
Rick John has emailed in. It looks here like he's maybe trawled the web himself. I mean, I don't know if people just immediately leap onto the web every time Karl says something in his defence.
I think our listeners are always on the web.
Anyway, he seems like he's reprinted here a news story, which seems to confirm Karl's Monkey Boy story.
Yeah, what was the news
Doctors
story?
baffled by boy 6 covered in ape-like hair. Doctors in Kazakhstan are baffled after finding a 6-year-old boy covered in ape-like hair.
Yeah.
The boy, called Ablay, was found in a remote mountain village close to the Chinese border. He's covered in thick hair from head to toe and has an oval-shaped skull. Doctors suspect nuclear radiation or a genetic disorder may be responsible.
Fine.
But it's an interesting bit here.
But sorry, it's not that you could have genetic defects. I've seen lots of people born with long noses, 5 feet, etc. I'm saying that he wasn't normal. he wasn't normal, and then went to live with monkeys and grew the hair. Well, that's my point.
But it says his mother and father are distant relatives. Such marriages are common in the Kazakhstan mountain hamlets. Now, the village elders were consulted as to what to do with him, right? Now these are the village elders, these are the wise men of the village, these are the people presumably that all year long are telling the village how to live, how to survive.
Yeah, you're in charge because you've lived longest.
Yeah, exactly, you presumably are solving any kind of moral conundrums, any sort of awkward things. Do you know what they suggested that they do with their hairy son?
Go on.
Send him to the circus.
The Carl's nodding.
Put him in the circus. That was what they suggested, and the mother actually wanted him to go to school.
Instead of I don't know, school or circus, I don't know. We don't know what's better for him.
Exactly.
I'm not sure.
We must consult the elders.
What do you think, Karl?
It's not a bad life, is it?
What, the circus?
Yeah.
Well, you ran away from it.
Yeah.
Love it. But remember that thing that I saw about that fella who, I don't know if you should talk about it really, but...
Go on. Tell us now. You hooked me. Come on. You can say it. It's okay. What, are you worried that it might be insulting to someone?
Well, it's not nice, but...
well, you're not taking the mickey out of it, you're telling us... Go on.
It's just, it was in that book again that you got me. You know, the book full of weird people.
Go on.
And things that are wrong with them, and hairy people, and...
Yeah.
Lad with 3 legs and that. There's a fella... basically just a head and a little body on a skateboard.
Yeah.
Right? Picture of him having a shave. And he was shaving with his mouth bit.
With his tongue.
Like that on the radio.
Yeah.
Just like,
Carl is now doing an impression of a man shaving with his mouth.
Yeah. Well, it's just a head, bear in mind. He's doing an impression. Imagine a head with a very tiny body on a skateboard shaving with his tongue. That's what Carl was doing.
Oh, and he was depressed because he kept getting hats for Christmas.
but if you were him, you would just grow a beard, wouldn't you, rather than...
Oh,
well, rather than go through all that hassle.
But you caught in the wheels of his skateboard.
True. Yeah.
Do you want to give us the clues again and the answers?
Yeah. The first one was, don't argue with him, he ain't gonna change his mind. The initials there were AA. That's adamant.
Yeah.
Alright?
That's good.
That's a good one. Second one, he always gets what he wants and doesn't worry about anyone else. That was P. That was Pixies.
Picks his, it kind of works, yeah.
And the third one...
I'll let you have that one.
I'll have to put that woman in an oven. That was AB, that was Anita Baker.
Anita Baker.
It's good.
Anita Baker. I'll let you have all 3 today.
So,
you've done well.
So, do you want to pick a winner, Steve?
Well done to Mark Leder from Bow. He wins those fairly mediocre prizes. Enjoy them.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, well, we've had a few laughs.
We've had a few laughs, a few tears, a few scientific breakthroughs.
Exactly.
Got to get a picture of Carl somewhere in the national press, just his little round head there.
There's an email here. Carl is trying to distract attention from the fact that he is a monkey raised among humans and horses and has failed to develop hair.
It's, I can just imagine him being the second cleverest in a troop of monkeys. You know what I mean?
Second cleverest.
You know what I mean? So,
picking fleas out there.
Oh, look at his little face. I'll tell you what, Heek, I'm gonna get a picture of you. Just put it in the radio section of Heek. This is what Carl looks like.
Oh, another email. Someone said, when the monkey boy went to the shops, he was naked. Where did he keep his money?
Good point. It didn't happen then.
Right. Well.
Oh.
So that's that. We didn't even do all
what do you mean?
We didn't get round to ritual.
Oh, come on, give us ritual. We have quickly.
No,
we have got time. Just do it. Why haven't we got time? It's 10:02.
Right. Well, we've got a long track to finish on.
Well, just do it.
Are you familiar with the place called,
Go on.
Easter Island?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know what they do out
there? Eat eggs. I don't know.
Well,
Go on.
that's close.
Go on.
Right. What they do, right, there's a lot of people living on an island.
Yeah. Easter Island?
And to find out who's going to be running the place, they
don't hold elections, do they?
They have these birds that lay, like, expensive eggs on an island.
Expensive eggs? They lay expensive eggs.
Fabergé eggs.
Yeah, go on.
On this island.
Yeah. Easter Island?
Once a year. No, off it, like, about 2 miles out. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And
Whitsun Island.
The sea.
True Tuesday.
Yeah, Pancake Island. Just tell us! No, tell us! Right, finish it now. Don't you dare! I'll see you later.
Johnny Mitchell.
I'm Ricky Gervais, with me is Steve Merchant and Karl Pilkington.
Good morning.
I'm going to be honest, I'm going to own up straight away. I've done very little work towards this show this week. I'm a bit busy.
You surprised me.
Yeah. So I apologise if it sounds a bit sort of...
Thanks for being honest though,
Well, no, I don't want people to go, oh no, that was a bit shoddy this week. I hope it's not going to be that every week. Yeah. So it is because I've done very little preparation.
Okay.
So...
Right. Whereas normally...
You'll probably have to help me out.
Alright.
You have to do some of the work. Carl, you might have to help us out a little bit as well.
I don't know, I
know Steve's done nothing towards it either. So... The onus is on you a little bit here. I love the fact that it's still listed as either Ricky Gervais or Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant.
Essentially, we don't need to be here, really.
No, but I know now people listen for Carl. Everyone I've spoken to, but people on buses, to comedians like Ross Noble mentioned you the other day, and they go.
People on buses?
I've never been on a bus.
You haven't been on a bus for like 12 years.
Yeah.
People on buses. don't know why I find that so funny. I just know the idea of you being on a bus. The idea of you handing over your fare.
They're shouting out from the window. Right. They're going, I love Karl.
Right. Yeah.
I'm walking along.
How much is it on the bus?
20 pence.
No, come on, seriously, how much is it?
One adult for Terminus, please.
I love the fact, they do that thing where, like, if they're interviewing
what is it?
Paul Newman or someone famous.
No, it's quid, isn't it? It's a quid.
They always say, how much is a pint of milk? And that's supposed to prove if you're sort of still in touch with your roots or whether you're too big a celebrity.
Yeah.
You've got no idea how much it costs on the bus.
Quid?
It's not a quid.
120.
No, it's not 120.
Pint of milk, about 50p. 30p.
Oh, brilliant.
Wow.
Oh, because it's fascinating because you gave this stuff up before you became a celebrity, didn't you? You were always
lazy.
Because people always say to me, like, Ricky seems a bit obnoxious.
Who says that?
No, they say,
who comes up to you and just says that?
The guy on the tube did it. I swear to God, he came up, he said I was watching an interview with Ricky, he's not a nice piece of work. I went, he said, no, I've got friends like that. And it's like they're always talking, they're a bit irritating, and you sort of let them off because they're your mates. But I was going, well, hang on a minute. He went,
well, two things, it's sort of my job talking, and being interviewed, essentially you do have to talk.
Yeah, so about yourself.
If that's his only criticism, then I'm not too bad.
No, he didn't think you were funny either. In fact, he had a whole list. I say a list, a petition.
It wasn't Dickie Anderson, was it?
It wasn't Richard Anderson.
I hope he's listening.
He's our biggest fan.
I'll tell you what, Mock Turtles need a remix by Fatboy Slim, don't they?
Mock Turtles? It's great.
Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. Ooh, stuff to do.
What's going on?
Stuff to talk about and that.
What's been going on?
Before you came in, you saw it, didn't you? That experiment I was doing with the...
An experiment?
Yeah.
Well, all I know is as I walked in the building, I passed the little kitchen area, you were hitting Karl on the head with a tin tray.
Didn't it make a good noise?
It was a great noise. But I'm interested, explain more about the experiment.
Well, I wanted to see how hard I could hit him and make it resonate, right, before I either caved his skull in, or,
right.
You know what I mean? So, you had to hold it quite loose, so it could, vibrate, but you had to grip it hard enough to give it a good whack. Right. And his head's brilliant for hitting stuff on.
Is it?
It is perfect.
Could we recreate that moment a bit later on the radio?
You'll notice that you've been on for 15 minutes, I haven't said a word. It's had a bit of an effect on me. Still a little bit shaken.
Okay.
Oh, dear.
But yeah, do it again later.
We were talking about your head a little bit earlier, weren't we?
It's not going to mean that you're sort of a bit, fuzzy thinking, is it?
It'll be alright.
Yeah.
So...
Can we recreate that later, maybe towards the end of the show? Just hit you on the head with various objects, see which make the best sound?
He said talking about Time Out. I said something about in Time Out, and he went, yeah, do you read that? I went, yeah, I read it, get it every week, yeah. He went, there's no point though, is it? He said, because it's like a telephone directory. If you want to look something up, you look it up, but you'd never sort of browse the telephone directory. And I went, that's an interesting point. He went, although I did. When I was in Scotland, I just looked up how many Macs there were, and there was 42 pages of them. How bored are you in your hotel room in Scotland to suddenly start working out how many people start with Mac?
Were you sat in your room? There was nothing else that you could think of to do?
I've been working. It's when we did the show from, XFM did some stuff from Edinburgh.
Yeah. You were sat in your hotel room?
Sat in the room, waiting to sort of go out and get some food and that. Sat there.
Why were you waiting to go out and get some food?
We were all going to meet up. We're going to meet up with, with Simon.
So you thought, I'm not going to switch the TV on. I'm not going to read a magazine.
The telly was on. Nothing was on. I wasn't impressed with anything that was on. So I'm looking around the room. I had a couple of the free shortbreads.
I love the fact he remembers. Yeah. He remembers a specific biscuit he had.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I had a couple of them, and then looked around, there was a Bible, and I thought, well, I know about that.
Yeah.
There's nothing in that I don't know. So, got the phone book up, and I immediately thought, there's a lot of Mac this and Mac that in Scotland, Macintosh.
Mac Daddies.
Macateer, there's loads of names. So I thought, I wonder how popular it is.
I wonder just how popular it is.
42 pages of Macs.
Did you count how many pages there were?
Yeah.
Did you just work out from the numbers on the bottom of the page, or did you literally count them?
I counted.
Right.
And
how many do you reckon are on a page? There's a lot in there. If someone could tell you approximately how many names they get on one page.
How long did it take you, this whole procedure?
What, the counting?
Yeah.
Not that long.
No,
it's just 2 pages. It's not that much.
They're all together,
and what did you do, once you digested that information, what did you do with that information? Did you tell people what you were?
I mean, look, how long ago was the Edinburgh Festival?
I stored it along with the biscuit. I love to get in his head. I imagine it's a big warehouse, And there's lots of partitions for weird stuff, like kids born with tentacles and things like that.
I imagine there's like quite an old caretaker, and you go in there, you say, I'm looking for it. He goes, hang on, I know where I put that somewhere. Hang on.
Is this the one when they shave the cat? No, it's not shaving the cat. This is the Max. The Max. Oh, you know, Scotland, the shortbread. Well, don't give me the shortbread, because that's putting me off. But,
what's the name, though? Do you remember last week I was talking about the airy kid? And,
I think that's every week, Carl. That doesn't narrow it down.
Alright, well, we were talking about that airy kid in the woods, and, did a bit more research this week.
Okay.
Found a good story out about a monkey.
Right.
Which I'll, told Ricky a little bit about it.
Tell me, come on, tell it now.
No,
I reckon we should keep this.
It sounds exciting stuff.
That's got 'em, right? So we'll be doing that. We've got
the audience.
We've got Rockbusters again this week.
Yeah.
We've got Do We Need 'Em?
Yeah. What are you trying to get rid of this week?
Cockroaches.
Right.
No, I can't think of a reason to keep them.
Looking into that, let's sort the matter out. That's coming up.
Excellent.
We've got, I'm teaching you some more stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
He phoned me up today. Yesterday it was. He knows he's been researching, like, educating Ricky. He said, what do you want to know about? I don't know. He said, you interested in space? And I went, yeah. Phoned me 3 hours later, he went, no, nothing about space. I went, what? He said, I couldn't find anything interesting. I said, you couldn't find anything interesting about space?
Yeah.
It's big.
It's pretty interesting, Carl.
It's big, but there's nothing there. That's it's like the Millennium Dome. So what I'm looking at, right?
But no, wait. He said, is there anything else you want to know about? I went, alright, I went, anthropology. He went, what's that? I went, study a man. I sent a man. He went, like what? I went, like, our roots from caveman through and all the, he went, and I said Australopithecus, Neanderthal. He went, well, you know all that then? I went, no, he went, right. He went, do you want to know how a lung works or something? How a lung works? And I said, well, tell me how a fridge works. He went, I said, it's just the gas, isn't it? I went, brilliant. I went, tell me how a microwave works. He went, I know. I said, fella walking past in a laboratory with a bar of chocolate in his pocket, went past some sort of ray thing, it melted it, and he went, hold on. That's it. That's explained to me how a microwave works. Right.
So today we're doing, sort of medical-ish type things, under the banner of, colon then, educate me.
Oh, God.
Do it again?
Colon then, educate me.
Brilliant.
So that's like, go on then. So, colon.
Brilliant.
So that's a little heading. You're going to be learning 3 things, sort of medical-ish, before 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, do you want to,
pretty much, yeah.
A bit of Suede?
Come on then.
XFM 104.9, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. Tell us about this monkey, Karl.
You're going to love this one, Steve, right? So last week we were talking about how, like, a lad left his family because there was problems at home and that. He went and lived in the wood. He got airy. Right?
No.
Leave it there, Rick. We haven't got time to go into it.
Right, so...
That's what happened.
And that's what happened. He lived with the monkeys. He went airy.
That's what happened.
Looked into, some other stuff about, like, airy kids and all that.
Yeah.
Came across this story about a bloke, right, who worked in a zoo.
Oh, dear.
Right? So,
Trouble's brewing.
Loving his job and that, but it's quite a lonely sort of job because you don't see many people, you're just dealing with animals all the time, right? So, anyway, he gets a bit pally with a monkey because it's the closest thing to a human.
Well, an ape is.
Right.
Yeah, but you can't really go that close to apes.
What do you mean? What type was it? Do you mean
let him tell the story.
Was it a chimpanzee?
I reckon it was a chimp, yeah. Yeah,
you don't even know, so that's an ape.
It was a chimp. Yeah, but it doesn't matter, does it?
So he gets pally with him?
Right, so he gets pally with him.
Well, do they go on holiday together?
Well, no, I mean, he starts off just checking each other out and, you know, probably sharing lunch and that together.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, this goes on for a while. You know, they're getting on well on that. And then after a while, right, the monkey starts sort of imitating him a bit more and sort of walking upright.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Right? So he thinks, oh, that's a bit weird. Anyway, they get on really better and what have you, so he thinks he could live at home with me, because we're getting on a storm, right? So he takes him home, and before you know it... Is this
the beginning of Beneath the Planet of the Apes? I think it is. I think you've seen this on video.
Well, I'm worried, because he's already imitating him and they're moving in together. I'm thinking it's maybe a bit like Single White Female. Single White Zookeeper.
Oh, brilliant.
Right, so anyway... So it's moving in, and it's getting used to sort of the normal human life. He's having a cup of tea in the morning.
Yeah, piggy tips.
As a he finishes the day off with
oh dear.
Finishes the day off with what?
He doesn't have to move a piano at one point, does he?
He finishes the day off with a little brandy?
Yeah.
He pours himself. Is he wearing a smoking jacket?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Carl, you're a maniac, mate.
No, this is why it attracted me. It's amazing, right? So he's having his brandy and that, loving his life. Next thing you know, he sort of, I don't know if he loses it or he gets shaved, but the top half of his body is hairless. Right? Apart from his head. Right, so
it's the opposite of the kid.
Well, this is what I'm saying.
That would happen.
Right.
Well, hang on, but so you don't know if he was shaved or if it...
How did it say, then the hairless, what?
I'll bring it in for you, the story, and then you can see if I've gone wrong.
Keep going.
Anyway, so this is going on, and he's having a great life. Then the zookeeper starts getting a bit annoyed because he's having a better life than the zookeeper. The zookeeper's in the zoo.
This is such
So the zookeeper's still got to do a day's work. The monkey's at home, he's partying.
Well, it gets to a point when he says, there's no point you coming in to the zoo, because the whole reason of you being there was because you're being kept there.
Right.
And he didn't want to bring the memories back, so he said, you stay at home. So
you're talking such...
Just let him finish.
God, I don't know if I can sit here and listen to this drivel.
I'm fascinated.
It's nearly over anyway, right?
It sounds extraordinary, Carl.
So, he's walking up, right, he's having a tea in the morning, finishing the day off with brandy. Gets a bit out of hand, only tries it on with the zookeeper's wife.
Make him go away, Steve.
How does he do that?
Well, because he's around humans a lot, he becomes a bit of a charmer.
But what is it that he could do to seduce her? Pick fleas out of her?
He didn't say.
He was built.
Yeah, he is well known.
So what about that?
What do you mean, what about it, Carl? It's obviously not true. It's obviously not true.
This wasn't on the internet. This was in a book. So it's not a quick joke and just, put it on a website. This is in a book.
I don't understand how...
I love that he becomes a charmer. He's got better taste in brandy. Exactly. And
What was it that he was doing that seduced her?
I don't know, maybe because he was at home more than the zookeeper was.
But what would he be doing, Carl? He's not going to be talking with her, they're not going to be playing, like, Trivia Pursuit.
Maybe she liked the silent type. He didn't go into that, he just said, that's when the trouble started.
Carl, play a record.
All right.